Buddy. I don't know how big this show will actually be. This was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was going to record my after the pool episode, and I'm like, you know what? It's Easter. There's a lot of people home. Like, why not try doing this? Because I have not done a live episode or a live stream on my own in a very long time. So I was like, why not do it? And I used to do the show live all the time too. So I have an opportunity to do it. So I was like, yes. So in case you guys have not seen me before, my name is Mike Spider Slayer. I run this channel called Comic Book Corner 2.0. And of course, I talk about comic books. That's what I do each and every week, whether it's comic book hauls, the after the poll, most anticipated, all kinds of crazy stuff. That's what I do. And it's cool to see some of you guys on here, which is actually really cool. I got Mojo on the show. I have Ninja Snipes, Jonah Roth, Robert, Jeezy Cheesy is on this show. So welcome, guys, to the show. Everyone says, what's up? Hello. Happy Easter. Hey, Mike. Guys, thank you so much. So if you have watched this show in video mode, this is called After the Poll. This is the show where I discuss with you some of my favorite comic books. Now, I titled this one XL because I wanted to talk about more than just 5 comic books this week. And I thought it'd be cool to do on a live format. And I just wanted to do something special, especially since there wasn't a ton of books, and we can kind of go through them kind of quickly without spending a lot of time. Ninja says, this is actually my first live on this channel. Well, welcome. I personally have not done my own live stream in over a year since COVID has started. However, I do a live stream with my friends from Comic Book Weekly, and it's streamed on this channel on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. And we talk a couple hours about the entire week's worth of comics, news, and all kinds of stuff. So if you guys can tune into that, that would be really a lot of fun. Okay. All right. So before we get started on this week's comics, I just wanted to remind you guys on the Road to 10K X-Men giveaway. That is the contest that I'm doing for this channel because I'm trying to reach 10K. And I recently did get some donations to the channel with X-Men comic books. And really, guys, all you got to do is just go ahead, leave a comment. You're entered in. Give us some thumbs up to the video, subscribe, and you can win a bunch of X-Men stuff, whether it's a couple of trades, a bunch of comics. There's also a graded copy, a 9.4 of a particular issue as well. And I think, guys, there's actually going to be more in this contest. I think I'm getting another donation. So this is shaping up to be quite the giveaway here. So let's take this question real quick. And Ninja says, so Marvel and DC fans basically snacks Zack Snyder and some stuff about his mythology in Justice League. And he said that Marvel doesn't have any of that, which like it does matter with X-Men and Thor. I don't know. Whatever Zack Snyder says, whatever. I think when it comes to the Marvel, if we're talking about the cinematic universe, I think that when it comes to the Marvel universe, I think it's done really well. I really enjoyed all the movies that they came out with. It's phenomenal the way they put everything together. Now, after Endgame and everything like that, will it be the thing that it once was? I don't know, but people are really gravitated towards the Disney Plus movies or the Disney Plus shows, and I think they're actually doing really well, and I think they could actually do better than the movie theaters, in my opinion, if the shows are done correctly. I have not watched the newest episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier yet, and I have not watched the latest episode of Invincible, so I'm getting to it, but those shows are absolutely amazing, so I really enjoyed those shows. All right, now let's talk about a couple things here before we jump into the comic books that I wanted to point out. So we have John Romita Jr. back in Marvel Comics, which I think is like, really, I'm like, I did not miss the dude at all. I thought he was perfectly fine at DC. I'm personally not a fan of Romita Jr.'s artwork when it comes to anything, whether he's in DC or Marvel. I just don't like his boxy art style. I don't think he's the artist that he once was. And I'm just not excited for him to be back. And they're going to make it this big deal that he's actually going to return. And that's just not, that doesn't float my boat whatsoever, So, yeah, is it a big deal that he's back? Maybe for Marvel it is, but for me, it's not. If you guys have anything to say about John Romita Jr. being back at Marvel Comics, just leave it in the comments below, because I'm totally not excited about that. He did this like promotional, art, and I'm just like, wow, big deal. I'm like, who cares? And supposedly he's doing a variant cover to promote the Random Penguin House publishing thing. And it's only going to be like one variant per store or whatnot. So I don't know what to expect out of that. I don't think I'm going to be glamoring over that cover, but we'll see what happens with it, right? And Ninja also says, well, when it comes to the comics, they're good. They're good. Just some fans personally, like me, which they made movies out of some storylines in the comics, but it is what it is. It's exactly right. All right. And then here's another thing. If you guys have not heard, right, DC is doing what they call is a round robin tournament for to select your favorite story, and whatever story actually gets picked by the fans winds up getting published. So there's some really crazy stories out there, but they have like a whole tournament bracket. It's like March Madness. It's like absolutely like, it's so funny, but it can't be a round robin. It's an actual tournament. It's like a bracket. It's elimination, okay? I'm a tennis coach. I run tournaments all the time. I put together brackets all the time. The way that bracket is, it's elimination. So I find it funny. But one round that I'm going for right now is a Green Lantern story. I want a Green Lantern story to be presented from DC Comics. I want a new one that's going to have Kyle Rayner and all those characters. And in that tournament, there is a Green Lantern story that's being presented, and it's going against something else. If you go onto DC's Twitter, you can vote for all the entire first rounds on which ones you want to move on. And I think that one goes on to April 7th. And then what they'll do is they'll start the second round. Very genius idea. I think it's absolutely awesome that they're doing this. And it just gets the fans, opinion on things. And it shows that DC kind of cares. I say kind of cares for their fans and what people are looking for when it comes to a story, right? So I think that was a cool idea. Just the name of it is like a round robin, and that's not what it is. It's a bracket. It's an elimination bracket. They should have called it April Madness or something like that. So really cool. So let's see, what do we have? Jonah says, did you hear about the new Carnage event, Mike? Yes, I did. I heard about the new Carnage event. Extreme Carnage, I think it's called. Yeah, I guess it's, a little bit oversaturation when it comes to the symbiotes. And I felt like it's been that way for a while now. We had Absolute Carnage, which led into King in Black, which was absolutely fine. And now you're going to have an Extreme Carnage. So how is Carnage returning? I don't get that. So it's kind of weird. I don't know what to expect out of it. Are you guys burnt out of these events? Are you burnt out to symbiotes at this point? You're going to get Donny Cates, who wrote probably one of the best Venom stories ever, in my opinion. But now we're going to get this story written by somebody else. I think it's Philip Kennedy Johnson, I think, who's writing it. And I don't know if he can duplicate the same type of thing, when it comes to Carnage. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, right? So we'll see what happens there. All right. Ozzy Shepard says, what's up, Mike? How you doing? Welcome to the show. And And Ninja says, so same with Venom. Funko Pops is getting way too out of hand, like too much Venom. Yeah, they got a lot of Funkos, man. It's crazy. March Madness for DC, huh? That's going to be interesting. What's it going to be like? Batman origin story in a different way versus Flashpoint? No, it's all, again, it's all original stories that they've come up with, all these pitches. And basically, it's one pitch versus the other pitch. So, for instance, it's like you have the Green Lantern story, and then you have, like, say, a Flash story. And it's like, do you want that story to be published, or would you want that story to be published? And whoever gets the most votes winds up going to the next round. Okay, so that's kind of how it works. So check that out. Like I said, go on to DC's Twitter page and you'll be able to vote on there. Really cool. I voted for Green Lantern. If you guys like Green Lantern, vote for Green Lantern. Jeezy says, I haven't read my Planet of the Symbiotes issue 2 yet. I haven't either. I'm really not into the King in Black tie-ins anymore. But since the event got delayed, it kind of killed the steam out of it. So I'm just looking forward to the Venom King in Black, and I'm looking forward to the actual King in Black story itself, the conclusion. Those are the two that matter, okay? Did I hear about Disneyland moving to Wyoming? No. I didn't even know that was a thing. Is that for real? What's your thoughts about Miracle Molly? This is what Robert Martinez says. Robert, when it comes to Miracle Molly, I don't have really an opinion. I think I give Tynion all the credit in the world for coming up with all these new characters. So she looks kind of cool. I like her bright colors. She's got this bionic eye, but I'm still yet to see what she's about. When the newest issue comes out, or a little bit more of her, maybe I'll have a better determination. I think she's cool. And again, I think that Tynion's doing a great job at actually introducing these characters and having a Batman story that's actually fresh, right? So really cool stuff. Thanks, guys, for tuning into this live stream. I know it's a weird day to do it on Easter, but for you guys that are watching, I really appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about some comic books, shall we? So I just wanted to let you guys know that there are going to be spoilers in here. So if you haven't read your books, come back, see this live stream again, and then you can leave your comments then. Okay. So let's talk about a book here that maybe some people were looking forward to. So let's see. What do you think? Flash, right? Flash issue, and I think it's over here, so let me go get it. Oh, yeah. I had to stretch there. Flash, issue 768. How many out there bought Flash this week? Leave it in the comments below. Yes or no. So Flash brings back Wally West, right? And everyone is obviously super pissed off that Wally is was a serial killer. And now our new writer says that, no longer is he going to be that way, Jeremy Adams. And he said he's going to have a different personality. Well, he's going to be light at heart and things like that. So this issue was interesting. Here's the artwork, in case you guys have not seen that artwork or you're still on the fence about buying it. It actually looks pretty good, in my opinion. It's all right. Right? But the story was kind of weird, right? So Wally West is joining the Justice League, and then all of a sudden, that's what you get based off of Infinite Frontier. And then this series, the Black Knight's on. What's up, Black Knight? Then all of a sudden, what happens is he's like, dude, I don't want to be part of Justice League anymore. And he's like, oh, okay. So Barry is like, okay, so I got to strip the Speed Force from you so you're not connected to the Speed Force anymore, and then you can be on your own. Okay. Why can't he just be, Wally West with powers? Just wants to quit, right? So it was kind of weird. So he goes into Speed Force. They're running along. Things are happening. Speed Force takes him along. There's like a problem with the Speed Force. And then we wind up seeing Wally West in the prehistoric age, or in the dinosaur age, which actually I thought was really cool. I loved seeing the dinosaurs. It kind of brought out the little kid in me when I was a, huge dinosaur fan and whatnot. And I loved how Wally actually had to kind of survive the dinosaurs, and the raptor had like the speed force as well, which was kind of cool, and it was chasing after him. That was a really neat art page, right? So I actually really liked that part of the story. And I liked how our heroes were trying to figure out how to save Wally. And I love Ollie's dialogue in here as well. But then I feel like now, by the time you get to the end of the issue, I feel like now this story is going on one issue too long. Like, why can't Wally just be separated from the Speed Force and then just make his way back? So now he goes somewhere else. He goes, I think, into the future. And I think he goes to see Bart. I think that's what it was. And now he has Bart's body. So it's kind of weird. Like, before he was like, you see Barry, but he's actually in a caveman's body. And now he's in his body. And then the artwork changes as the issue goes along based off of the time period that he's in. So I thought it was okay. I guess it's better than him killing people. Hello, Mars. Welcome. And thank you for, tuning into the show. So I think that it was better than some of the other stuff that we got, right? And then I didn't know what to expect out of this last page. So I was kind of like a mixed bag when it comes to the Flash. Like, I love some of the dialogue. I love some of the character interactions. I love that Wally's not a serial killer. I don't like how he gave up being on the Justice League so quickly. It's like the first issue that he's on in the main title, he's like, I don't want to be part of the Justice League. And it's like, you were promised by Infinite Frontier that he's going to take Barry Allen's shoes, right? He's going to take place of him, and he's got large shoes to fill, and that's what happens. So, again, I have mixed feelings when it comes to the Flash. When it comes to buying that, I don't know, guys. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I'm going to leave it up to you, because I'm going to try issue 769 and see if it gets any better, or how long does this story arc drag on for. So we'll see what happens when it comes to the Flash. All right. So thanks, guys, for watching. I have 18 people watching. I'm not breaking the internet in every shape or form, but I do appreciate you guys checking out the show. So let's see who we have on here. So we had the Black Knight, and we had Ninja, who says, it's a Flash versus so it's all over the place. Look, the Flash does have some weird moments, but just need to make a good movie. So we need to make a Flash good movie. We need to make a Flash good comic book to get people on board. So like I said, Mars joins the show. Eden joins the show. Thank you guys for checking out this show. All right. So let's move on to the next book. Any of you guys read The Black Cat out there? Issue 4. You guys know, based off of my videos, I am a huge fan of Felicia and this series. This series was I didn't give it a chance at first when it first came out. And then right before King in Black, I actually gave it a shot. It was actually got pretty good, had to deal with Iron Man, and then they stopped it for King in Black. And the King in Black issues were actually really well done. And the artwork was gorgeous, and I love the way Jed MacKay wrote Felicia. And then I read Jed MacKay when he did Taskmaster, and you guys all know how I felt about Taskmaster, right? That series was phenomenal. So obviously, again, he writes Black Cat, and we're back to the main stories here. So when it comes to Black Cat, we get the story of the Queen Cat, right? Now, if you guys don't remember the Queen Cat, do you remember Lily Holster? Which she was AKA Menace. Okay, she was like a girl green goblin from Norman Osborn, and she wound up something happened to her. It's like she got blown up, she got thrown into water, she has amnesia, she doesn't remember who she is. Kingsley wound up giving her like a serum that's just like Black Cat, and now she remembers herself as the Queen Cat, and she feels like she has to be the only one. So she wants to take out the Black Cat. And it's actually a really interesting issue because she comes up with the entire issue of, stalking Felicia and trying to take her down and things like that. And it took the entire issue to get there, right? And she had this whole all these newspaper articles about her and all this stuff. And literally in 2 pages, like Felicia's like on top of her from the very moment and like shuts her down. And she's just like, yeah, I'm the only one there is. I'm the only cat. I'm the black cat. But if you want to be a hero, you're more than welcome to do it. And I thought it was an awesome issue. It was so well done. Trying to see her try so hard to get the one up on Black Cat, and she just could not do it. It was a phenomenal read. I definitely recommend it. This is a solid book. It's something that it really does surprise me. And yeah, great stuff. Black Cat issue 4, definitely a recommend. All right. So what do we got here, guys? All right. So the next book that we're going to be talking about is Better Ray Bill issue 1. What did you guys think of Better Ray Bill? Did you check it out? Were you excited about it because Donny Cates was the one that, Donny Cates wrote Thor, and you kind of want to see what happens with this particular one. Now, you don't get Donny Cates that writes it. You get Daniel Warren Johnson, who writes this particular issue. The artist is the person that did Murder Falcon. You guys remember Murder Falcon and the Wonder Woman Black Label book? That's the person that does the writing and the artwork in this book. So it has a distinct feel of it, right? But it really is a cool issue. And if you are a Better Ray Bill fan, shoot, even if you only became a fan based off a Donny Cates issue, it really gives you a feel of what this comic actually is about. And I really enjoyed this book because really what it is that Better Ray is always there for the fight, but who always takes the glory? And that is Thor. And Better Ray is very frustrated with Thor. He also broke Stormbreaker, so now he's caught in his cybernetic horse form, and he can't change back. And he's trying to go to Odin to try to get a new weapon so things can get back to normal. You get to see a relationship with him and Lady Sif, and we can see that relationship is strained as well, because obviously he tried to like hook up with her, and like he kind of can't because he's stuck in that cybernetic horse form. And that's where things just, all got messed up there. It was quite interesting, though. But overall, it was such a really good issue. Again, a distinct feel when it comes for that artwork. Great character emotion here. And I'm definitely on board when it comes to Better Ray Bill issue 1. So if you have not picked it up, I definitely say pick this one up. You will not be disappointed when it comes to it. Steve White says, a good afternoon, Mike and all. Mo says, hi, Mike. I really enjoyed Better Ray Bill. Good read. Yeah, absolutely. So don't pass that one up, guys. And that's a $4.99 book. So again, most of these number ones now are going to be $4.99. You're not going to see too many $3.99 books. How do you guys feel about that? This is a tough question, and I always want to know this. Like, when do you guys stop the hobby? Like, when does it get too expensive for you, right? Or is it you're just going to keep cutting down until you just can't afford comics anymore? Until there's like a comic that's like $20. It's like Batman issue 100 or 200, and it's $9.99, and then from there on out it's $10.99, then it's $11.99. It's like they're going to charge like $20 for one comic book eventually. Like, what are they going to offer at that point? Right? So Steve White says, I picked up Better Ray Bill. I just have not read it yet. And Eric says, hey, comic family. So welcome, Eric. You guys, thank you for taking some of your Easter and watching my live show. That's awesome today. All right, so let's move on here and let's talk about X-Men issue 19. What do you guys think of X-Men at this point? Is it disappointment for you? When it comes to Jonathan Hickman's X-Men, what did you think of this Volt storyline? It has come to an end. It was basically a 2-issue thing. I was expecting a lot more from this. Basically, we just get to see Laura, Darwin, and Sync stuck in this vault, and they've spent years and years and years stuck in here, and you basically they had to escape, but there was not really that much happened in this book. I was expecting a lot more ramifications, a lot more, I don't know, at stake when it came to our characters here being in the vault. I mean, it was cool seeing them age, and then it was kind of cool seeing them escape. But at the end of the day, they wind up escaping and they're older, but then they die. And so what's the point of dying if you just go ahead and get resurrected once again, right? And that's been the whole problem with this X-Men. There's nothing means anything anymore. Who cares if people die when they can just get resurrected again? It doesn't mean anything. So even if they were old, wrinkly, and gray, and everything else, it doesn't matter because they got resurrected back to what they last remembered, and they remembered the secrets of the vaults. But now they're young once again. Cool seeing a relationship, I think, between Darwin and X-23. Whether that relationship continues going forward, I'm not sure. I don't know if it will, but we'll see what happens with it. It was an okay read, and I thought it was better than issue 19, but I felt like it just was something that felt like it was going to be huge, and then issue 18 didn't progress the story at all, and then issue 19 was just, hey, we spent many billions of years in here, and we have to escape. I'm just like, oh, and now I died, and I just got resurrected. There was nothing at stake, and that's the problem with X-Men. You don't have anything at stake for these. So that's why they got to do, fashion week and dinner parties and stuff like that, because you can't do any serious stories. The story that they should make is that they should kill the people that can resurrect the X-Men, like the Five, and then dying means something. Out of all the years that you read your X-Men comic books, how many times did people die? Very few, right? Ever since Jonathan Hickman's X-Men came out, people die left and right. They die like underwear. So you can see, it's like changing underwear, right? You can see that they have gotten laxed on everything on when it comes to, X-Men dying. It's just, I don't know. I don't really agree with the way it's going on. I really want to like this run, but the more and more that it's out, I just get more and more disappointed with it because there's just nothing there that means anything, and I want it to mean something. And just the main title itself is all over the place. And I think issue 20 got delayed, and I think that's the one with Nimrod on the cover. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so I got a few messages here. So again, guys, thank you for watching. Let me see if I can pick up where we last left off here. Eric says, I'm just going to cut back on issues. I will spend the same amount. So that's his logic when it comes to spending money on comics. Steve says, with the cost going up, my picks will reduce for now. And who knows what will happen next. The Black Knight says, I'm cutting my weekly new books because of the $4.99 and $5.99 books. Future State destroyed my pocketbook. Yeah, Future State was a lot of money. I know when it comes to me, I buy a lot of variant covers, and I'm cutting down on the variant covers. That's how I'll save money. Because instead of buying a variant cover and just it being a cover and spending $4.99 or $5.99 for it, I can buy a whole other book for that if there's another book out there, right? Or I can put money towards a key comic or back issues or something like that. Simon joined the show. He says, hey, Spider Slayer, Second Street Marvel says, I only buy indies now. No more big two. Been checking out different crowdfunded books too. That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead. Check out Kickstarters, things like that. My friend's Cat Comic Uno has a Kickstarter going on called The Dancer. Really great stuff. My friend Brant Fowler, who has his own publishing company called Last Ember Press. You guys might want to check that out. Has some great comics out as well. So definitely support those Kickstarters and Indiegogos and all that type of stuff, that crowdfunded stuff. Mo says, I cut down on a lot of my DC comics because of the price hikes. Eric says, hey, Trinity. Mo says, I'm glad Spawn keeps the price low. That's what they need to do. Spawn just stays low, and you're going to get, I think, more readers attracted to it, or at least going to try it because it's that $2.99 price point, right? That is phenomenal. You may take a loss in the beginning, but if you write good story and you keep the price low, people are going to stay on that title longer, right? We do so many gimmicks when it comes to comics now with new number ones and things like that. And it's kind of frustrating. You know, here's the test of time. When comics are at the number of 200, 300, whatever it is, it may be a little bit harder to get people to jump on board when it comes to those comic books, because it's like, wow, 299 issues. How do I catch up on that? Well, comics were doing that for years. Just jump on at 300 and then just continue going forward from there. And you'll jump on the core story arcs and you'll learn history, or you'll pick up back issues as you go. The comics were like that for years, and now they do these gimmicks with these number ones, and it's a little bit frustrating. I think, if you have something that's at issue 300, that proves to a reader that, wow, this comic must be really good because it's been around for 300 issues. When you have a book that's been out for like 6 issues and then it gets a new volume, what does that stand for that book, right? It doesn't say very much. So yeah, a little frustrating there, right? So I think they should keep going with the numbering and stop with the restarts and let people jump on when they can. Just make it clear that's a new story arc, new jumping on point for people, right? It shows people that a book stands the test of time, okay, when it has a higher number, right? All right, let's see what's going on here. Eric says the big question is, are they the same person once they have been resurrected? Now, it's been proven that they have been the same person only when they got killed in the Ten of Swords, when they were in that other world, that they come back as something different. Now, whether that will have ramifications in the future with these other X-Men that died is completely something different, right? Jeezy Cheesy says, yeah, that should be a cost to dying. Either finality or the person came back different. Yeah, that would be cool if there was some kind of problem. There's got to be something there, right? Simon says, at Second Street, been loving indies for years, looking forward to Geiger. Yes, Jeff Johns' newest book, right? Geiger. Simon says, Pet Sematary. Does Pet Sematary have a comic book coming out? I mean, I like the movie. Mo says, dying and being brought back to life does not have much meaning anymore. No, it really doesn't. Because they do it all the time. Back in the day, obviously, Death of Superman started it all, things like that. But you can do deaths, but have it mean something and kill off the character for a while. Have it mean something, right? Simon says, Geiger already sold out on distribution level. Will be hot on Wednesday, especially Glow in the Dark. I think that's hilarious that they have a glow in the dark cover. I'm not sure if my store's going to get one or not. Mo says, I can't wait for the Spawn universe. Are you guys excited for Spawn universe, right? Tevia is on the show, says hi. Second Street Marvel says, yeah, there's really no reason to read after House of X, Powers of 10. Hickman literally laid out how all this will end. And Tevia says, Marvel needs to stop relaunching all their books back to number one. Yeah, I agree. I believe in, if you have a mini series, I do believe in that, and then it comes out in trade. But if you say that it's an ongoing, then make it an ongoing. And, if a book doesn't sell that many copies, then obviously it gets canceled. But titles like Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, like those books, they've been around for life. They should not restart, right? I think the Way of X is going to address the death issue. That's the one with Nightcrawler, am I right? Simon says, when dying and coming back, Pet Sematary. Okay. He's saying that the X-Men situation is like Pet Sematary. Totally understand now what you were saying there. Okay. I thought you were talking about a comic book. A little slow sometimes. And Simon says, all in on the Spawn universe. Yes. All right. So I know you guys are talking about Spawn here in the comments a little bit. So let's talk about Spawn. We got Spawn issue 316 that came out this week. We got introduced to another Spawn. And this is all gearing to the whole Spawn universe. And we have this character here by the name of Plague. And I think, I watched Comic Tom 101's interview with Todd McFarlane, and he's trying to get away from this thought of the sayings of all the different Spawns being called like their name and Spawn, like Plague Spawn, Medieval Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn. Like, he wants them to just be called by like their first name and not everything has a spawn at the end of it. But I thought that was a pretty cool what he said, though. But this book was pretty cool how it introduced Plague, and how like interesting does this character look. Like, I always thought, obviously, Todd McFarlane's Spawn is like a cross between Spider-Man and, you know, Venom, right? It's like and with some sorcery, some magic and stuff like that, right? But the artwork in this run right now is so good, and I love seeing all these different characters, and I love seeing the introduction of Plague, kind of like what his powers actually are, and how he went against like the Omega Spawn, which I thought was kind of neat. And this dude tried to capture Plague in any way, shape, or form, and whatever he did, he just could not handle him. And he's like, "Well, you can lead by my side, and you know we can rule the world together." And it was just kind of cool. But this guy just kind of, it's just like brushes him off like it's nothing, and then Omega just like, "Well, I'm going to squash you like the bug that you are." And he uses these little like needles or whatever it is to like open up his fist and stuff. Really cool issue. It was shortened because it had to deal with She Spawn, and she was looking after, you know, trying to find out who killed her friend way back in Spawn issue 300, which is kind of cool. I love her. I think she looks awesome, and she definitely has some great potential there. But this book read really fast, man. It was like action packed, but the artwork in here by Carlo Barberi is just so good, and I love the colors. It just pops, it brings it to life. And again, for the $2.99 that you pay for this comic book, I think it's just awesome. I just think it's so worth it, and everyone should give it a try. I know it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but support the book that's $2.99. Show that that's the way the comics should be priced these days, right? Definitely a good time to jump on the character, because you want to be a part of that, you know, if you want something cool to read, right? All right. Let's see what we got. Any other comments? Tevia says, "I'm surprised Spawn is still alive all this year. Dude, Spawn is selling more copies than ever. Like, it sold something like, it sells like 80,000 copies now. Like, it's crazy. Miles should have not had his book relaunched. I agree. I think he should have stayed in the Ultimate Universe, right? Yeah, Tevia said Plague, loving the new art. That thing kind of looks like a spider. Yeah, it's so weird. He can like mold and just gel. I think he can shape shift. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Steve White says, "I never collected Spawn, but I'm looking forward to the Spawn universe as a jumping on point." Mo says, "Spawn artwork never disappoints." Tevye is a little lost on the whole Spawn situation. The countdown has returned. Now, I never read Spawn for a long time continuously. If you guys want to let me know, what does the countdown actually mean? Does that mean something is about to happen? Is that what the countdown means? I'm not sure what that is. Simon says, "Jump on Spawn now. It's setting up on the right universe." Steve is like, "Cool." And yeah, so yeah, guys, thanks for watching, man. This is really cool. Just a reminder for the new people that have joined on, give this video a like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell, guys. Road to 10K, X-Men giveaway. New prizes introduced into the X-Men giveaway that was donated to the channel. So I made a video yesterday. If you guys want to check that out to find out what those prizes were, there is a graded comic book in that giveaway, so you guys might want to check that out. But yeah, you guys are awesome right now. Thank you for watching. And again, if you celebrate Easter, happy Easter to you. And if you're just enjoying the day off, you know, enjoy your day. All right, let's talk about a new book that came out this week. This is Shadecraft. This is issue 1. This book was actually really cool. This is about a girl, and I forgot his Zadie. It's about a girl who has these shadows that is following her around. Okay, and this is done by Joe Henderson and Lee Garbett. And it looks really cool, right? I love the facial expressions. I love the characters. the interactions between the shadows and our main character by the name of Zadie. I thought that was really cool. And everyone thinks she's crazy because she sees these shadows and it's coming after her, right? And she doesn't have much friends. And we learn that her brother is in a coma, but I don't remember what the accident was, like why he was in this coma, right? And she is very sad that obviously her brother's in this coma, but she kind of hates him for it because everyone looks to her as, oh, you have the brother that is in the coma and I don't know how to talk to you situation, right? So really interesting. And her parents are obviously frustrated with the whole situation. Her brother's been in this coma for a year, and in this issue, she's get these shadows that chases after her. But by the time we wind up getting to the end of this issue, she has a protector against the shadows. Now, who do you think it is? Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, remember, spoiler, it's her brother. But her brother is like a shadow person, right? And she like hugs her brother as the shadow person. But we don't know, again, why he's in this coma. How is he a shadow person? Is she going to become a shadow person? Is this a way to bring her back? I thought it was interesting, though. I love our main character, though, because she's so out there right now. She doesn't feel like she's a part of everything. She's lost, and it was kind of cool. I thought it was definitely a pretty solid story. I don't think that it was a perfect read. There's some things in there I felt that were forced a little bit, especially when it came to the parents. But it was all right. It definitely warrants a second issue to see what this story has to offer for people. So Shadecraft issue 1, if you guys are looking for something different, this might be the book for you. I think this is the same creative team that came out with, what was the book here? I can't remember what it was. Skyward. That's it. This is the same team that came up with Skyward. So, yeah, check that one out if you were a fan of that series, guys. All right. Let's check out some of these comments here. Let's see. Oh. I don't remember what the countdown was for Spawn was all about. Like they are trying to give them their own name. They are already in the Spawn universe. Don't need to have it in their last name. The countdown is the limit of each Spawn's powers. Okay, so when that countdown is done, they're out of powers. So are they all out of powers at that point since we have all those different Spawns, or is that just for Al Simmons, right? The countdown is how much power Spawn has left. Then they can become a slave to Malbogoyo. Okay. DC is getting out of control on cost, but the Swamp Thing and Suicide Squad have been entertaining, but something has to give. Okay, the countdown for all Spawns means the more power he uses, the more he comes closer to hell. Damn, I put Shadecraft back. Should I have grabbed it? I think it was definitely warrant the first read. I think there'll still be some on the shelf. Recently in Spawn, Al Simmons found out when he went to 0 meter, he never went to hell. Okay. And so is her brother a good guy? Well, we don't know that yet. It seems like it because the brother was protecting her against the other shadow monsters. So quite interesting there. Polio says, blessings to you, brother. I love your vids. I appreciate it. Simon says, Al Simmons was redeemed by God and didn't go to hell, and other Spawns with very little plasma power left came out of hiding or dormant. Pretty flippin' cool. All right. Next book we'll talk about real quick is Witchblood, issue 1. I'm not even going to go through this book. This book was not good. Don't buy it. Don't read it. Don't look at it. Just bad. The only reason I got it was because of this cover right here. And then I decided to read it, and I was like, this was the worst read I read in a while. This is something, don't read. This was the first issue of it, done by Vault Comics. No, it's getting the axe. I'm not reading that book anymore. And then let's talk about one last book here. let's talk about Silk issue 1. Silk wasn't all that bad. Silk is really, when it comes to Cindy Moon is definitely, obviously, basically a clone of Peter Parker. She's bitten by the radioactive spider, the same one, and she has all similar powers, and she even works for J. Jonah Jameson at this point. But this book was actually not bad, right? We get to see Cindy Moon in action here. I thought the artwork was kind of good. It had some good colors in there. There was some good banter between some of the characters. J. Jonah was kind of like a feminist asshole to Cindy. He's like, yeah, you're a girl. You should be getting your sleep. You shouldn't be out this late and this and that. And it was actually kind of funny. But she does this investigation where all these people wound up getting murdered, and she finds out that they're somehow connected, which she thinks is like werewolves and stuff like that. And it was pretty cool seeing her do this investigation piece and putting together this type of article, and the article winds up getting out. And these people are threatening J. Jonah Jameson for that particular article. And then what happens is Silk comes to the rescue, saves his day, and J. Jonah wants to hire her as a bodyguard. And she's like, no, I'm not paid for hire. And he's like, come on, we got to do this. They're just going to keep harassing me until, until this is all done. And she's like, yeah, you're right. So fine, I'll send you the invoice. So now she's J. Jonah's bodyguard, which I thought was actually kind of cool. And then by the time you wind up getting to the end of this issue, you wind up seeing this weird cat that seems to be like the enemy, which at that point I was kind of like, what is this thing? So it's the appearance of some Asian cat. I don't know. I don't know. But I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad. It really wasn't that bad. It was a pretty good issue. I enjoyed it. I think I'm going to give it another read and stuff like that. So yeah, it was kind of cool. What do we got in some comments here? Tevia says, kind of reminds me of Demon Hunter. Man, it was bad. Witchblood, never heard of it. You don't want to hear of it. Steve says, my local shop did not even have any Witchblood, so it looks like I dodged a bullet. Thanks. Tevia says, so tired of clones of Peter Parker on Spider People being copycats to Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Steve says, Silk seems to be a female ripoff of Spider-Man, but enjoyed it as well. Yeah, she is. She was stuck in a bunker for years, and she just kind of came out of that bunker, and she's basically the same person almost. I wish there was a return policy for Witchblood. Silk is a female version on Peter Parker. I thought it was good. I'll continue with the series from now. Yeah, she is. She's a female version of Peter, and if people want to get attracted to a female hero, this is her, right? This better not connect to Weird World again. I don't think it will. Simon says, to clarify, each spawn has their own countdown or plasma power. That makes sense, Simon. So which countdown are we seeing, though? I think that's what I'm trying to, there's all these spawns, so which countdown are we seeing, right? All right, so real quick before I close the show, guys, I got a couple other books that I did read that I just want to mention real quick. Avengers Curse of the Man-Thing. This book was actually decent. And what we get in this particular book comes straight out of the X-Men, Hickman's X-Men. Do you remember the grannies? Do you remember them? Yes, they are in this book. The botanist grannies, they have a niece, and she has powers, and she takes out the Man-Thing in this issue. So this is a first appearance of a new villain, I would say. So I don't know what to expect going forward with this. This book was actually halfway decent. It was a good Avengers story. And let's just say Man-Thing, at this moment, in his form that you know him, is not around. And there's all hell that breaks loose in this. And this does continue in Meeting of the Monsters in Spider-Man Curse of the Man-Thing. So this takes place in different issues. So this is just not a single book. So, if you want to check it out, you might want to check it out. I think Steve Orlando did a pretty good job with it. So, yeah. And then we have Crossover, issue 5. This book was okay. Not much really progressed the story. We got to see our heroes go towards the bubble of where this entire event is. And if you read God Country, you got to see them get possession of this sword, and they're using this sword to their advantage to get through that bubble. Pretty cool moments in that book, but nothing really progressed the story all that much. But it was definitely a good read, and if you're enjoying it, I think you should read it. Okay, so Tevye says, so Man-Thing is gone. His swampy thing his form is gone. But the person that is him, like the original guy himself, is not gone, if that makes any sense. The guy who became Man-Thing. I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't know that much history, so I forgot his name. But he is still alive. But the Man-Thing himself has been destroyed as of now. Simon says, Todd sometimes won't specify which countdown we are seeing unless the character is in the panel. Makes sense. Thank you for that information. Gotta follow the countdowns to really know. Second Street Marvel says, crossover isn't even okay. It's Witch Blood. So I guess we don't like that, huh? Crossover is a good book so far. I love the paybacks coming into it. Yeah, I like how they cross over to some of this stuff, and you kind of know who the heroes are, but it still leaves a little bit of a mystery in itself, right? All right. So there you guys have it. These are the books that I read this week. I gave you some insight on them. Some okay books, nothing that really, I guess, blew me out of the water. I think Spawn was probably like one of my favorite. Shadecraft surprised me. Oh, X-Men Legends 2. Yeah, when it comes to X-Men Legends issue 2, it was kind of a waste of a time because everything gets retconned by the time you get to the end of the issue. Adam X doesn't even remember who he is anymore and who his brothers are. So what was the point of the flipping story, right? So, okay, artwork for that book, but it was kind of a disappointment in my opinion there. So we'll see what happens going forward when it comes to that one. Anyone here reading The Walking Dead Deluxe? I am reading The Walking Dead Deluxe, and I think it's quite cool seeing all those books in color. So really great stuff when it comes to them. So, and if you haven't read Walking Dead, this is a perfect time to read it, right? So great stuff. All right, guys. So I am going to head out for the day. Again, this was like an impulse thing when it came to doing Comic Book Weekly. If I can do it live in the future, maybe I will. So, and if I can, I'll try to do it on Sundays. It just depends what kind of time that I have. So maybe you'll see it in regular video form, or maybe you'll see it in live form in the future. But if you guys like this, just again, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and always leave a comment so you can get entered in the giveaway. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'll see you guys soon. Don't forget Tuesday, if you're up at 10 p.m. Eastern time, check out Comic Weekly. Guys, that show is great. It's great with me and all my friends on there. We talk about all kinds of great stuff. So guys, hopefully I'll see you there. I'll see you in my next videos. Join Facebook, my Facebook group, Comic Book Corner 2.0 Webheads Unite. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Guys, thank you. Happy Easter. If you don't celebrate, again, enjoy your day. Take care, guys. I'm going to leave now. Have a good one. Bye.